Jai Shriman Narayan, Jai Shriman Narayan, Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome those in advance who will be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube's and the various groups from around the world subsequently. Our topic is the celebrations in the month of the Ramanujans, which was initiated at the Sri Narayan Dham in 2020. And in this month, we celebrate the life and teachings of Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj, the life and teachings of Lord Sri Ramanuj, and whenever and wherever required, the life and teachings of myself. So, in this month, we combine my credentials with the credentials of my spiritual master, the credentials of all the Purva Acharyas, the credentials of the 12 Alvars, going all the way back to Lord Sriman Narayan. This is the most authentic, undistilled, non-philosophical discourses given around the world. There is no bias in these discourses. We do not belong to any philosophy. We belong to the Vedic injunctions. And the philosophy in the Vedas is the philosophy of the Supreme Lord. It is eternal and it is transcendental. It cannot be changed by any saint, by any sage, by any Devi or Devta, or by the Supreme Lord Himself. Because if He changes this philosophy, He changes the game. And this game cannot be changed. And that philosophy is karma, dharma. Karma, dharma. Karma is the accumulated positive and negative merits of all living entities in all of the infinite material universes. We're living in a very small universe. In fact, this is the smallest universe. Coexisting with this universe are an infinite amount of universes existing simultaneously. The sum total of all the karma of all the living entities gives impetus to the creation of all these universes. Then you need dharma. What is dharma? Righteous living. So you got karma, then you got righteous living. Karma, dharma, righteous living, liberation. Karma, dharma, righteous living, liberation. And this comes in this human form. There are 8.4 million species of life in this particular universe. 8.4 million species of life in this particular universe, and the evolution of life started from the sea and it came into the land. So you have the marines and marine life and aquatic life, and then you come onto the land, plant, creepers, snakes, insects, animals, human, devis and devtas in various categories. So above us is the bhoot and the pisach. You all know the bhoot and the pisach. It's spirit that does not have a human body but cannot find any body to get into. That is the bhoot and the pisach. And then above that are our ancestors, and above that are various categories of devis and devtas, going all the way up to Lord Brahma. So the human life is not the last life. Above the human life is the life of devis and devtas. Depending on your merits, this particular universe has 14 dimensions. This universe has 14 dimensions for living. We are living in the eighth dimension from the bottom. There's 6 dimensions above us. There are 6 dimensions above us, and this is the only dimension where you can obtain liberation. This is the via medium. Earth is the via medium for liberation, and the human body is the via medium for liberation. When the human body interfaces with earth, and that is when your soul can attain a frequency. Your soul can attain a frequency and leave this material universe and go to Vaikunt. Vaikunt is a place where there's an infinite amount of souls. Some souls have been eternally living at Vaikunt, and some souls liberated and are now living at Vaikunt. And they all serve Lord Sriman Narayan. Every living entity in Vaikunt serves Lord Sriman Narayan in various forms, in a spiritual body, in a spiritual body. So the Vedas, the philosophy of the Vedas is karma, dharma, liberation. You are here only for liberation. You are here only for liberation. When you close your eyes, you must not come back to this material atmosphere. And that is my job, to teach you how not to come back. You know who's your greatest enemy? If you want to find your greatest enemy, go to the nearest mirror. Trisha, you don't carry a small mirror in your bag there. Yeah, check. You're going to find in that mirror your greatest enemy, made up of 5 elements. Your greatest enemy made up of 5 elements. Look at the greatness of the Supreme Lord. He created this entire universe only out of 5 elements. Those 5 elements are space, air, fire or heat, water, and earth. These five elements, in proportion to your karma, these elements are mixed with your merits and demerits, and then a combination of the three gunas. In proportion to your karma, in combination of the three gunas, your character is built. If you're a rogue, who made you a rogue, Ram? Who? Yes. You made yourself a rogue. Whoever you are in this world, you can't blame someone else. In your previous life, you wrote the book. In this life, you are living it. Whatever illness you have, it's in proportion to your merit and demerit. Whatever good life you're living, it's in proportion to your merit and your demerit. You can continue lying to yourself, but you can't lie to your karmic sheet. Your karmic sheet, no one can change your karmic sheet. And the Supreme Lord lives inside your heart. Lord Narayan is not far away, there on that poster and there in Vaikunth. He lives in your heart and drives you according to your karma. Lord Narayan sits in your heart and drives this body according to your karma. Your GPS is inserted in your body when you are placed in your mother's womb. When the sperm and the ovum fertilizes, immediately your karmic USB is inserted in your mind. In your mind. And as the child grows in the womb, it grows according to karma. Grows according to karma. And this has been proven. Twins born from the same parents, identical twins born from the same parents, you can't even make out the difference as a parent. Absolutely identical. One is a judge and one is a criminal. Have we noticed this in society? All of us, have we witnessed this? How is that possible? And why is that possible? It is only possible because of karma. So the Vedic, the philosophy of Sanatan Dharma is karma, dharma, reincarnation, and liberation. Karma, dharma, reincarnation, and liberation. No way out. No way out. And this is why I said your greatest enemy, every day you meet up with your real enemy. Trisha, how much of money you spend dressing your enemy? How much of money you spend feeding your enemy? Because it is this body that brings you back into another body, and the more bodies this body make you bring back, what happens to your duration for liberation? What happens to your duration for liberation? Gerald, increases. So every time, Karan, when you look at yourself in the mirror, think what the Guru is saying. You dressing your enemy for another lifetime. Or you can follow what the Guru is saying and make this your last lifetime. You were somebody's wife in a previous lifetime, Karan, and before that, you were somebody's husband. The soul has no gender. The soul is either female or male. Your last thought, your last thought gives you your next body. Your last thought gives you your next body with your accumulated karma. So if you think of your husband when you are about to die, what you'll become? A man. Aware? If you think of Ashmika wife when you are about to die, you'll become somebody's wife in the next lifetime. This is absolute science. This is absolute science. And when I have time, I'll give you an example. There was a saint, a formidable saint, a bona fide saint, a renounced saint. He wasn't like me living with the family. He wasn't a grihasta guru. A renounced saint, he was living in the forest, and there was a deer. D E E R. A deer that came to his hermitage. And he got used to this deer. He got very used to this deer, and he was in an advanced stage in his life. He was feeding the deer, taking care, and he became attached to the deer. And one day he passed on. And whilst his soul was about to leave the body, his only thought was on that deer. His only thought was on that deer. And what you think happened to him? Supposed to get liberated. He did everything possible to get liberated. He even went and stayed in the forest. And the last moments of his life, he got attached to the deer. And he had to come back as a deer, notwithstanding the fact that he was a saint, because karma got no favorites. Karma got no favorites. And if you think I'm lying, Trisha, if you think I'm lying, you know I got contacts in politics. I'll give you the state president's number, Cyril Ramaphosa. 4 years later, karma caught up. You can ask him whether you can be a billionaire, you can be a state president, whether karma will catch up or not. If you don't want to talk to the state president, then I'll give you Julius Malema's number. Ask him whether karma caught up after many, many years. No one can hide karma. You can make Om Swaha 1,000,000,000 times. Karma got no favorites. Karma got no favorites. Karma got no bias. If a great saint about to get liberated attached himself to a deer, who is anyone else compared to the saint? Divashka? Do you understand? So karma is mathematical. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Even if you know a guru, you still pay. You still pay. Even if you are the guru's children, you still, even if you're the guru's wife, you still, it doesn't matter who you are. And the guru himself cannot escape karma. The guru himself cannot escape karma. All of you understand? And this is the philosophy of Sanatan Dharma. This is the philosophy. When you go into Google, they say Sanatan Dharma has three philosophies: Advaita, Dvaita, and Visheshadvaita. No, it's false. Man cannot make philosophies. No man has the power to create a philosophy. Philosophy is made by the Creator. And this is the philosophy, and I'm saying it again: karma, dharma, reincarnation, and liberation. Now let's go to dharma, because dharma is the most important aspect of our philosophy. Dharma is righteous living. Dharma is righteous living. Is righteous living taught in school? Righteous living is taught in school, Ram. Then how you became unrighteous? Ram, how did you become unrighteous if you learned it in school? Now I'm talking about before meeting me. Ram, you don't want me to go into the 200 eyes story. And this is why I encourage children to come to satsang, because only in satsang you can learn righteous living. You see, I give you examples from myself and from my family so that you can learn. Sean and Sherwin spent many years in the Balvi classes as children. Sean and Sherwin were small children, and I was not living with them. The mothers sent them to Balvi classes for many, many, many years. When they came out, they became teenagers, they deviated. They, but that rooting in the Balvi classes brought them back to righteousness because they remembered what they learned. They remembered what they learned. They did not learn righteousness in school. They learned righteousness because the mother struggled and sent them. I was not around in the 10 years. And that is the greatest gift the mother gave, Mataji gave to her two sons, so that today they came back. It was like an elastic. When it is planted in children, when righteousness is planted in children at a young age, unrighteousness is only an elastic band. Somewhere along the line, righteousness pulls you back to the core again. Back to the core again. And what you learn in righteousness, what you learn, what do children learn in ashram? I must not lie, I must not steal, I must not cheat. These are the things when you grow that make you accumulate karma. Yes or no? How do you accumulate karma? through unrighteousness, through our dharma. And this is why it is important, Anu, for children, for the seed to be planted in children at ashram. And I was speaking to Sean today, and I said that children from this age must start learning music, harmonium and tabla. And I see we got quite a few children. We need to find somebody. You all must look, Avir, go and Google, see if there's a teacher that can teach children on a Saturday from 4 to 5. They can use the ashram, and collectively we can, you don't have to pay a particular price. He can come here and say, charge us 500 Rand for a session. And we bring all the children, they can learn the tabla and they can learn harmonium. Shravan is a natural. Shravan didn't learn harmonium and tabla from anyone, neither did he learn singing from anyone. Mataji is also a natural because her father was one of the greatest Ram Bhakt that I know of. I'm sure there could be greatest, but I came across her father every day after work. You'll hear tabla playing in the room, you'll hear harmonium playing in the room, and the recital of the Ramayana. Recital of the Ramayana. In my 30 years there, this is the, whenever I went there in his room, he was busy singing. He even offered me, he even offered me, Anu, in my young days, I was 25, 24. He said, come my boy, why you don't learn the tabla? Why you don't learn the harmonium? I'll teach you. And in my head, what you think I said? Devashka, really mad. Not just normal mad. Really, really mad. I was listening to Michael Jackson, Pink Floyd, Bee Gees, and my father-in-law, Anu, wanted me to play tabla. Whilst on this topic, I think about 2006 or 2007, I took them shopping. Mataji, her mother, to take and pay in Newlands. And there was a bottle store in the side there, Ram. Whilst they were shopping this side, I went quickly and shopped that side. Trisha, your son is not here. He's missing out big time. So before they came, I think half of whatever I bought was. So I came high spirited back to the flat. High spirited back to the flat, and I told my father in law, one day I'll stop drinking. One day I'll stop smoking. I was smoking 100 cigarettes a day at that time. So I told my father in law, one day I'll stop drinking. One day I'll stop smoking, and one day I'll stop eating meat in 2006. And this was about 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. Mataji and her mother laughed right up till 6 p.m. Saturday afternoon. But my father in law said, Shami, I truly believe and trust that you will do what you are saying. And today, wherever he is, I am sure he is sitting proud. But his part of the karma was to deliver Mataji. Sean took 20 oaths with myself and Mataji at Guruji's Samadhi place. Sean didn't want to come. I offered him, he was working. He said, no, Dad, I'll come on the next one. So Sean was there. Sean took his initiation and he took 20 oaths that he'll be part and parcel of this ashram, of this lineage in promoting Sanatan Dharma to the world. This ashram has been built 80% by myself, both materially and financially. Right now, we are building a driveway. Right now, we are building a driveway, and if you cost the driveway 500 meters squared at 500 rand a meter, Divashka, 500 meter squared at 500 rand a meter. Calculate. Dana? No, Dana. 500 meters squared at 500 rand a meter. Two hundred and? Yeah, I think I'm giving you wrong figures. The cost of this driveway will be 1 million when I finish. 1 ton of rock is 1,400. I don't know why you laughed. You like hearing rocks in tonnages. This driveway is going to be worth 2 million in cost when we finish. Again, there 80% myself, 20% I'm asking you to buy some pigments here and there. So when I'm gone, you can come and look at the pigment and say I was part of this. Right? And I want to thank Dana and Cyril for the palm trees. Those palm trees that starting at the beginning of the driveway going right down to the end, over 100 meters of the driveway, when Shweta and Shinika and all these Yajwan, when they grow up, they'll see nice tall palm trees surrounding this ashram and driveway. It's by these two young boys, Dana and Cyril, 25-year-old lighties. All right. So I'm bringing this, and I'm stating this in the month of the Ramanujans. I said I'm also going to bring my own credentials in. When I got initiated, I was on a contract with WK Construction, where Sean is working currently. And my job was to supply every grain of sand, every equipment, every truck, everything WK construction needed. It was my job to supply them at 200 million rand. 200 million rand. And when we took this oath, I remember the last night we had, I don't know, 20,000 rupees or 20,000 rand, but we had to go and buy equipment. We had to go and buy equipment, and the money was finished. All the money was finished. And Sherwin came to pick me up at the airport, and I just tried my card, and I found 3,000 rand. Lord Narayan gave us 3,000 rand just to come and start again. So, which guru in the world will leave a multi-million rand business and become a guru? And for what reason? Why would I want to do this? I was in a leadership position with the second highest political party in the country, second highest black political party in the country. I was in leadership. Why would I relinquish that post to become a guru? If I have to go back to work now, if I have to close this ashram and go back to work now, my profit will be 6 million a year. My profit will be 6 million a year. You see this house, you see this ashram was a shack. I turned it into this. How many properties you think I can buy, Anur? For 300, 400 and sell it at 5 million. In a year, I did every design, every engineering. Whatever you see on this property is by me only. I was late today because I was working. So from 2013 to date, I have relinquished 6 million rand a year to be a guru. 6 million rand a year to be a guru. So that I can teach you and your children the absolute truth. So there's no Mickey Mouse. No Mickey Mouse from Lord Sri Ramanuj. Yes? He spent 60 years compiling and re-establishing the Vedas. How long? There's no Mickey Mouse from my guru. He spent 12 years learning the Vedas, and he spent 12 years in the forest, in solitude, without meeting a single human being. There's no Mickey Mouse from my guru. And I left everything I dreamt of. I left everything I dreamt of. And I left an amount of wealth that few people in South Africa had access to. And I can leave this ashram today and start that business anytime. Now maybe I can make 20 million rand a month after the local government elections. Okay, so I'm going to end the spiritual discourse at this point, and I want to make a comment. I am very disappointed at a podcast that took place this week. I have scanty information, but in that information that I have, it was a podcast aimed at Indians. It was a podcast aimed at Indians, and I am going to open a charge at the Equality Court. I'm going to open through the Acharya Sham Ramanuj. It's an alarm on my phone. I am going to open a charge at the Equality Court. Jessica is not here today. I don't know why she didn't bring this to my attention sooner. I think it happened earlier in this week. And this podcast has many, many viewers, and they use the name or terminology Kuli. So I'm going to charge these podcasters, and I'm going to contact. There were many black bishops, pastors, reverends that came and worshipped at this ashram, yes? Many of them. I want a response from them. I want a response from Indian churches. I want a response from the mosque. I want them to join me. I want them to join me in this because we need to bring this type of hatred against Indians to an end. And I'm saying this with love. When I was 5 years old, my mother should feed every black lady that was selling vegetables on our road. She used to bring them in. Our staple diet was mealie rice with some vegetable on a Wednesday, some offal, and on a Saturday, meat. Any of these days, whatever was in the pot, my mother used to bring them in and feed them. Without sometimes purchasing, sometimes not purchasing. And when I asked my mom, Ma, why you bring these people and feed them every day? She said, these people have a soul which is identical to an Indian soul, or a colored soul, or a white soul. It was at the age of 5 I lost my racism, which wasn't even there. I lost my racism at the age of 5. When I was 15 years old, I started my first fight for the liberation of this country. I became a student leader. I brought out many, many schools in protest against apartheid, and I was one of the leaders whilst I was in Standard 8 in 1978. And when we were given speeches, the security branch isolated us leaders. They came with tear gas and whips, and they gave us a terrible hiding. I still feel that pain today. And it was so painful that I ran across the hall whilst our females, our sisters, were on the ground suffocating from tear gas. My pain was so intense, I trampled upon them to escape. this whooping. This is my country, and I was part and parcel of the liberation that this country has from apartheid today. I didn't just sit and let somebody else do the dirty work. My entire life, my whole life, I fought for righteousness. And I am not going to leave these podcasters alone. I was always involved in the politics of this country. I never saw a black person as a black person. Never ever saw a black person as a black person. And I'm not going to allow any black man to undermine another race. We're not going to allow racism in this country. The first Indian got into this country in 1654, not 1860. First Indian came to South Africa in 1654 as slaves. The first white settler came in 1652, but the first white to put his foot on in South Africa came in 1448. Mr. Bartholomew Dias. The first Zulu to come into South Africa came 1,500 years ago. And for over 200,000 years, the Khoisan lived in this country. If you want to claim this country, then you have to go back as well, because you came from somewhere 1,500 years ago. When you came, there were people here. When you came, there were people. When we came, there were people. So we're not going to go. You have to live with us and give the Khoisan their land back. They are the first people in this country. Whatever rule fits you. This is not a Zulu nation. We are all settlers here. This is a First Nation country which belongs to the Khoi and the San people. They can be traced to 200,000 years. 200,000 years. And when those slaves came here in 1652, there was an Indian lady, and her DNA is currently running in the Khoisan. An Indian lady, her DNA is running in the Khoisan. So we have to take action as a collective. As a collective, so we can learn from every race. We have different races. We can learn from every race. Instead of hating another race, learn something from them. The white race. What can you take away from whites? Discipline. Whites are very, very disciplined, whether they are begging on the street or whether they are president. I think the first white, the first vulgar white I saw in my life is Donald Trump. All right? Besides Donald Trump, from a white man, you can take respect. Even if you tell a white beggar when he runs to your car, I got no cash, I'm carrying cards. He'll apologize. He, okay, I'm sorry to trouble you, no problem. Any other race, how they look at you? When you say no change, we carry card, I know how they look at you. Like you did something wrong, all right? But a white man is disciplined. You also Peter the other day, he came to satsang. How disciplined he was. How disciplined. So from a white you can take discipline. From a black you can take loyalty. Because they don't care who's right and who's wrong. They're loyal. They are absolutely loyal. And this loyalty I want from the Indians. This is happening in the month of the Ramanujans, and Lord Ramanuj was the greatest social integrator to live in this lifetime. Greatest social integrator to live in this lifetime. He's been acknowledged by the United Nations, and I'm happy it happened in his month. We will use his power in equality. What did Lord Ramanuj teach us? Equality for all. Respect all, worship your own. Respect all, worship your own, equality for all. This is the philosophy of Lord Ramanuj. So if you're a sitting guru in this period in South Africa and these things take place, must you not be an activist? Must you not be practical? Must you only preach? Or must you practice as well? Practice. Okay, so I'm going to get on the phone with Jessica immediately after this satsang. I'll get my attorneys involved and then I want to start that case. I want you all to look on YouTube. I don't know where to locate this. I just saw it pass, and when I went to look for it, I can't find it again. Before they download it or before they delete it, we're going to take them head on. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to write to President Zuma because I've been noticing on social media MK is targeting Indian businesses. Have you all noticed? In relation to foreign workers, but they are targeting Indian businesses. And the last I saw was they went to Karanichas in Marisburg. And Karanichas has been supplying food, low cost food, to everyone for a long time. Indians, whenever there is a disaster in a black area, who is the first to respond? Ashrams, churches, mosques. The Indian families are there first. Your first blanket you get it from an Indian. We need to bring all of this into his perspective. Don't you think? Don't you think? Indians need to be acknowledged, not as a minority, as an equal role player in this country. What do you get from colors? No, you get detachment. On a Friday at 12 o'clock, Karen, they detach from work. Then they teach you to party. On Sunday, they get ready for work. Yes, Karen? I know. And they always carry a kit bag. Okay? You don't want to guess what's in their kit bag. But I'm saying this with love. But what do you get from Indians? From Indians, you get education because every Indian family, no matter how rich or how poor you are, education comes first. Your parents will push you to educate yourself, educate yourself. This is what the rest of the world must learn from Indians. And this culture is coming from where? It's coming from the Gurukul. This culture is coming from the Gurukul. It is that syllabus that you're learning in school is a Western syllabus. The dharmic syllabus came from the Gurukul until Britain invaded India. There was only Gurukul everywhere. You learned physical science from your Guru. You learned maths from your Guru. You learned biology from your Guru. And you learned about God from your Guru. Gurukul. And that is why India was the most prosperous nation in the world. Their economy could not be touched. Their economy could not be touched. This culture is still in the Indian DNA. Which Indian parent has not tried their best to educate their child? Eating dal and rice, but putting your child through school. And it is for this reason that Indians are ruling the world today. This entire planet Earth, all mega businesses, is run by who? Every CEO, majority of the CEOs around the world are Indians. Don't hate us. Don't hate us. We came here as slaves. You walked into this country. You walked into this country in freedom. We came to South Africa as slaves. There's a huge difference. You was a free man in this country. We came here as slaves. And there's a big difference. Look at our consciousness and look at your consciousness. Look at our psychology. Look at our forefathers' psychology. As slaves, we educated ourselves. We built our own schools. We built our own temples. We built our own mosques. We did not go begging anywhere or to any government system. Indians became self reliant. We became doctors. We became lawyers. We became judges. South African Indians have been promoted to the United Nations. South African Indians is known around the world. We didn't come here and take anything from you. We took and we are continuing to take whatever belonged to us. Whatever we are using in this country, whatever we are doing in this country, we have a right. It belongs to us. We sweated for it. Our parents sacrificed to the ultimate. Grandparents sacrificed to the ultimate for us to be who we are today. And I'm not a racist. I'm a bona fide spiritual master. I don't see color. I don't see creed. But if nobody is going to put this right, then we do. You remember what happened in 1949? Remember what happened in 1986? Remember what happened in 2021? We want to avert this. And this type of irresponsible podcasting, this type of irresponsible podcasting has already lit the fire. has already lit the fire. You just need some idiot to fan it. You just need some idiot to fan it. And this time we're not going to hide and duck. Indians need to unite. Jai Shriman Narayan.